The theme. Okay.
No, we didn't agree on this. I can't do it.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
All right, welcome to the Daniel and
Fernando
show. And today we have special guest Sang.
Hello. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. It's very nice, very intimate, very, very fun. Can't wait. And I mean it. I know I sound sarcastic, but I don't mean that. It's just too early in the morning right now. It's 5 p.m.
Sang,
Yes.
you've been doing comedy for a while.
Yeah, yes.
About how long, if you had to guesstimate? Or if you know exactly.
So this is actually an interesting question because I can't give you like a straight answer.
Okay.
Because different comics count the time that you've taken off as time that goes into your years of experience because you're still thinking about comedy and you're aware of it. You're just not actively performing it.
Yeah.
So for me, I started at my senior year in high school when I was like 18, 19 because I graduated a year late. And I was part of Stand Up Soul every now and then just as a hobby from there. And because the scene didn't have as many shows and as open mics, and also because I sucked, I didn't get to go on as many shows as I wanted to, so I wasn't as regular, and I had to go to the Army for 2 years, and I had to quit stand-up comedy for like 2 years because of my military service. So I think I would say like 6, 7 years. Now, if I'm adding the time that I was in the military and everything, I would probably say 8 to 9.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Almost a decade of comedy.
Yeah.
Probably not. I don't know. Yeah.
So, but in that ballpark though.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a little bit ambiguous. It depends on the comic.
So you started at 18.
Yep.
What was your foray? Like, how did you get into that?
Okay. So I was really angry. I was full of rage because originally I'm a beatboxer. For people that do not know, I'm just beatboxer. That is like my first stage performance. And I've always been a beatboxer, and I never really knew what stand-up comedy was, nor did I have any interest in it. But I went to a small international school, and my grade only had 40 kids. And my friend, Hannah Song, who came to 2 of my shows and said I was great and supported me back then, was like, "Yo, your beatboxing's old. It sucks." Yeah, it's very redundant. I think I don't want to see you perform. I'm just like, who allowed you to speak?
Yeah.
Like I'm a god of sound. I control. And I was very angry, and I was like, whatever, fine. And then my history teacher, shout outs to Mr. Weeby, that's his actual name. Probably should not have said that. But my history teacher showed me a video of Russell Peters. And Russell Peters is a Indo-Canadian comic known for his accents and stuff. And I saw that and I fell in love with it. And I was like, wow, comedians perform for like 1 hour and it's all different material. So people will never tell me stuff like your jokes are old or like your performance is old. I can do this. I can't. But I was like, that's when I ventured into stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
And that's what got me started. It was just all rage. I'm like, how dare you say my performance is old?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. And that's how I got into it.
And so you've been beatboxing longer than you've been doing comedy.
On a technical level, yes.
Yeah. It shows. I mean, because you recently had your special.
Yes.
And the beatboxing really, you use it in a tasteful way. It doesn't carry your act.
Thank you very much. That really means a lot because that's one thing I'm trying not to do.
Okay, yeah. So the way you implement it, I mean, could you talk about the journey in your, it would be, you would have to reduce it down. It'd be like a snapshot, but from 18 to you're, doing 30-minute plus sets.
Yeah.
What has that journey been for you as far as with your writing, as far as with how you identify yourself as an artist, however you want to go about it?
I sucked until now. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I just kept sucking.
Yeah.
And then until the very last moment, I got okay.
Yeah.
Just suck for a long time. Just be bad. But
I was there to witness all of this.
Okay. Absolutely awful.
I saw him coming out of that cocoon.
Still in it, dude. I'm still. I think these are fantastic questions. like, yeah, of course, like initially, like I didn't know like how to do stand-up. I just got on stage and I was like, hey, aren't elevators weird? And I had these absolutely awful premises. It was so stupid. Like, what are you doing? Yeah. And then like, I remember, cause I was like 19, 20, and then like, and then all these OG comics in the stand-up soul scene, which is the name of the scene at the time, was like saying, do you know this thing called like a punchline? And I was like, I was like, what are you talking about? And I really did not know. And I would just be really eager. And so like predominantly it was like that, and then like after a while I went into the military, and then like I stopped doing comedy for like a long time. I did a lot more beatboxing, and when I came out of the military, I did comedy again. Sucked like a lot because you get rusty like if you don't practice. So and it was really bad. And a lot of people around me did not support. Like, it was really bad. One time, I gotta say, I was with like my first girlfriend, and then like I did a English comedy open mic, and then I did a Korean open mic back to back because it was at a venue that allowed us to do that, and I bombed both super bad. Like, like it was so bad. Yeah. And then like it was so bad that she was like angry and like, why do you do this? You will never succeed in this. Stop doing this, please. Just get a job. And and I'm just like, I love you too, babe. And yeah, so it was really bad, but I really loved it. And I think the pivotal moment for me was when I decided is like I need to like actually like venture off into like a different country and like try it extensively. Yeah. And I know I mentioned it a lot in my comedy, but like I applied as an exchange student to Australia. And one good thing about being an exchange student is you don't have to try. Just pass. Don't get an F. Just get a D, and that's fine. Okay. Just get a moderate D and just. So I had all the time in the world to do comedy there while I was a student. Yeah. So, and I did it like 4 or 5 times a week for like 6 months constantly. And like I got to really learn a lot about comedy and like how to like, you know, like try to like write a punchline and to like deliver it better and to like actually have like material for once there. And then like, but I think I would like to argue I got a lot better in Seoul when I first came back. In 2020, shortly before something went down. Yeah. Yeah. We won't say it, but you know, something cough, cough, literally went down, and I just kept working there with the comedians like Fernando and like other guys. I just kept doing it and like tried to do crowd work and really try to entertain people and diversify my material, and I think that's where I got a lot better. Yeah. And initially, I was always reliant on the beatboxing because I'm like, dude, the people love it. It's awesome. Yeah. Totally. And then like Fernando was one of the few guys who was like, hey, you're using that as a crutch. Why don't you take it easy there? You know? Okay. Yeah, it's like if you watch Jim Carrey's like earlier stand up, he relies heavily on his like impressions. Like it's very it's very, very good. But Jim Carrey also stopped relying on it so much. So that's something that I am going through. Not saying I'm like Jim Carrey, but you get the deal.
I get you. Yeah.
So that's one thing I worked on a lot.
The reason I said that is because I felt like there was a division between comedy and his beatboxing. So in this early year before the cocoon age, he would do comedy, and I could see whenever he was not getting the attention or he was not making, he would just turn into a beatboxer. So I kind of said like, it's okay to use beatboxing, but I think you should use it as a comedy, not a way to get away from the bombing.
Yeah. Gotcha.
It's so impressive how now he uses beatboxing as an element. It really works really well.
Yes, very tasteful. Yeah.
Thank you.
You guys can check it out on the 쌩쑈 videos that we have.
Nice. Yeah. It's on Dr. Gotti YouTube profile. But like, yeah, I used to use it like I just... You know when Iron Man first like had to fight without a suit in one of the Marvel movies and he was very vulnerable? That's what I feel like every fucking day. I'm like, what do I do? I can't do this. Yeah. I need my sounds. I can't use them. Yeah. But I had to really force myself to like, you just gotta tell yourself like, it's okay to suck sometimes. Yeah. And that's completely fine to fail, absolutely. because it's really easy to just like rely on my sounds, like, hey, everybody, or whatever the fuck.
Right.
Like, it's really, really easy and simple. And I wanted to kind of stop relying on it because, again, it's a lot of anger that motivates me because I was so angry. Like, why am I so dependent on this? So I just stopped relying on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anger is coming up a lot. So
Yeah, I just, I don't know. Just filled with rage.
I've seen a lot of that.
You've seen a lot. So what has been your process with like the rage in your writing? I don't feel it as much, and I'm also seeing your later stuff.
Oh,
so I wasn't here throughout the whole process. I'm not seeing that as much.
Good.
So
I'm glad you weren't here for the earlier stuff. It's fantastic news. You would not be friends with me, but, you know what I'm saying? Just, yeah.
So like what is that process through all the failing, all the bombing, the sucking? Like how did you continue to get up on stage, and then how do you kind of like work out that rage to where it's like it's not evident? Like your set is dynamic, but it's not like you're like an angry dude on stage.
Yeah, I think those are okay. Sorry, this is a lot of really intense questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like multiple questions. So first question was like, how did I work up like the bombing procedure and just like keep going?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think like the community matters a lot.
Okay.
You got to be surrounded by people who like, you know, are supportive. You know, like I think if you are surrounded by people who are realists, are very realistic, who want somebody who wants like a 9-to-5 job, you know, like breadwinner type of vibe, I think that's completely okay and that's fine. Generally for people who are pursuing the arts, it's not really as ideal because they won't support it because it comes with like a lot of risk.
Yeah.
So I think you got to surround yourself with people who understand that this is like a passion that you have and it's not some kind of like, oh, just weekend with the boys hobby thing. Like it's not that type of vibe, and that they have to understand that it's something that you want to put time and effort and consistency into, and they have to respect and like understand that thoroughly. I think that's like really important because like just having a community full of comedians that you can go over jokes with, like, hey, how's my set? Shit, thank you. Like it's very important, like, you know, to communicate and all that. That's how you can improve and really like hone in on like what you can and cannot do as a comedian, and just like throughout your bits. And like for me, I just really hate everything else other than performing comedy, doing comedy and music. Like I've worked several office jobs. I've done a lot of things. I just despise it with all of my, like I respect every office worker that can sit down in an office and like do this nonstop, and their highlight of the day is a smoke break or shitting in a toilet or lunch. That's amazing to me. I could never do what you do. It drives me insane, and like the feeling of just doing comedy and like you do well, and it's like you're just like getting high on booze or like drugs, and you're like, oh my god, that was good. And it never compares to anything else, and like that's what like motivates me to like keep going. I love it so much. And like I just like because like like literally the whole world is against me pretty much for the longest time. Because like if I'm a beatboxer and I'm a comedian, oh no, good luck. Generally it's not a good combo, and that's fine. So it's just something that I really love. And for me, like the most important thing is that I try my best, and you know, even if I fail or make a career out of it, that's like the most important thing. Yeah. And then what was the other part of your question?
The rage.
Yeah, the rage. So I'm not really good at getting angry at people. I think like if you know me, I'll just get frustrated at the situation. Like, why isn't this working? But I would never be like, what? Like I would just like, it's just all inner. So I just keep it inside me. And it just explodes into like comedy or the gym session or aggressive masturbating. I just, Why don't you like me? I'm just kidding. All right, that's a little bit too far. All right, but it really like helps me like get through like all the stress and like the rage and all that stuff. And I think the rage like motivates me to be a better show organizer and like a performer. I'm like, what can I do to improve? Or like, why did I do so bad? And all that stuff.
So is it safe to say
that
that the first question that Daniel gave you was how do you overcome bombing and, you know, the frustration? Like, and from what I heard, it was like the love for comedy is too much that you just like just keep on going. Like even if, like, you know how we feel after a bomb. Even if everybody has some way of overcoming the shitty feeling that you have, that you wish there were a time machine and you go back, you know. But like I feel like, you know, we talked about this, Daniel and I talked about in the last episode. But from what I hear from you, it's like your love is too big that you just keep going. It's like you kind of ignore it. So like I just wanted to ask, how long does it take for you, or what kind of effect does it have after you bomb? Like,
I think like depression. No, I'm just kidding. No, I forgot to answer that question more directly. I think, okay, so my opinion is bombing is like part of the process. Like you should just be World War I and World War II as an open micer. Like you cannot just be like, I'm gonna kill it, your boy. Like if you kill it every time, then comedy will not be as fun for you because you don't know what like success is like until you like fail like several times. And that one new bit works just the way you put it that one time. You're like, and you're like, yes, and you don't learn to appreciate it. That's why a lot of celebrity comics, like they talk about like, oh, I want to be like a regular comic and like just bomb and like actually like, you know, figure out material instead of people laughing with me because they're my fans and all that stuff. I think bombing is, sorry to go on for long, but it's a very natural process. And every comedian, listen to me. It's okay to bomb. We want to see you bomb, okay? Fail more. Okay, the wrong camera. Fail more, okay? Stop being arrogant. You're not special. You do not matter. No, right. Okay, that's a little bit too far. But like you should fail nonstop. That's the only way to get better. Like you can't just expect like, but I can't bomb, but I can't fail. It's like, eat a dick, please. Like absolutely fail all the time. And that's where your style and like your strength comes from. Like when you exercise first, when you learn to play guitar, it's gonna be pain. You're not gonna be like, oh, I'm strumming all these chords. It's gonna be calloused fingers, and that's exactly how it translates to, in my opinion. And that will only come through bombing, and you know, you'll create defense mechanisms, all that. And Daniel also mentioned that sometimes he'll just go on stage like unprepared, and you'll like freestyle from the top. And he's told me and Fernando that you know, like you bomb like a lot, but from that you develop like cadence, how to deal with silence and the audience reactions and like your composure and everything. I think this is very essential. If you just go up there and you're like jokes, why isn't this working? Then like you will not it will not be as like a good developmental, you know, like phase for you. It's okay to like, you know, have failure. It's not the end of the world. I know it feels like it because it's just that awkward feeling and it's just like silence and that darkness just like taking over, but
and it does take over.
Yeah, but it's like it's absolutely okay. And like as a show organizer, we want to see like you bomb and how you deal with that type of situation and such. So yeah,
I got a question.
Yes,
I still have like the frightness that maybe I would bomb, but I have my ways of enjoying it. I think the bombing. I think when you start to enjoy bombing, like you can really put out all the materials that you want to put out.
Yeah.
Because if you have that frightness, like sometimes you don't want to put something out because you're so afraid of failing.
Yeah.
And bombing. The question I have for you, are you still afraid to go up stage? Maybe I will bomb. Do you have that? Do you still have that after doing for 10 years?
Of course. What do you think?
It's good
of
to
course.
know.
Every day. Yeah. Even during the special, I was really nervous because I was like, these are like, you gotta understand from my recent special, I've run out of material. I have no more material left. Why do I even still do open mics? Like, I'm done. I should just wait for my flight and just cry in the corner. Why? Like, I have no more material left. I'm running on fumes. So it's very nerve-wracking for me to go on and do 25 minutes of like B-grade material that I have not fully developed. But I try to deliver it with all of my heart and like with all of my passion. So it's nerve-wracking for everybody. And like, I don't have anything tonight. Here we go. We'll see how this goes. Like, but my theory is that when you don't, there's like different defense mechanisms that every comedian has. Like, you guys are like both like excellent at crowd work. So like sometimes when you don't have like, because you can't write new jokes every week.
Right.
Yeah. So you do crowd work and like, you talk to the crowd. For me, I do that. And then simultaneously, when I enter the room, I kind of assess the crowd. I kind of analyze. Sebastian Maniscalco does this, except with cameras. I kind of look at the crowd. I'm like, okay, they're like this type of vibe. They're like that type of vibe. Okay, this type of people are like this. Or if they say something throughout the open mic or show, I can kind of like analyze it in my head and like kind of come up with the comeback or some kind of an input for that. So, but these are all defense mechanisms. And some of the things, sometimes I try not to do that on purpose because I just want to be vulnerable and just like get up there with like nothing prepared as well.
Yeah. So my favorite thing about comedy is there's so much trial and error no matter how seasoned you get.
Yeah.
There's a lot of failure on the way to a good bit.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite bit by a comic like that you could quote? And even if you can't quote it, just something like a bit where you're like, man, I love that bit. Like it doesn't get old for you.
Well, I mean, like, I like your stuff. I appreciate like all the comics. Like I said, I have like this really selective memory that's kind of autistic.
Okay.
If you name any comedian from our group chat, I could just recount their material. Okay. Any one of them. So like, and I appreciate a lot of their material. This one, I don't know why it made me laugh so much. This is by Ricky. You don't know this guy, but he's a guitarist slash stand-up comic. So he's a musical comedian.
Yeah.
And he has. I'm just gonna recount it for you. But yeah, he has this bit about like, I was watching these people, you know, like actually talking about conspiracy theories, and I wanted to really know their perspective, and I thought it was really interesting, and I wrote a song about what they were actually trying to say. And he sings a song, and he just goes, "Some people are stupid." Yeah, that's it. And then, like, but he's like so dramatic, like strumming, like some people. I don't know why. It's such a simple joke. It just fucks. Ricky, I'm sorry. I just like recited your joke on the internet and just jizzed all over it. I apologize, but
this was This was extra funny because usually in his songs, he gets very descriptive.
Okay.
He talks very intensely. He goes into details. But this song just has like one sentence.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Some people are stupid, and everybody's like, I know.
I don't know why. It's just a silly, like just a classic one-liner joke, misdirection. It just messed me up. I don't know
also the contrast of what his other songs were.
Yeah.
Made it extra funny.
Yeah.
We love you, Ricky.
Yeah, that's from our comedian group.
Right.
I think like there's so many good comics. There's so many good jokes, and like there's a lot to appreciate. For me personally, I've told you this off the air before. Like even if I don't like that comedian style or it's not my taste, I try to analyze and appreciate that the struggle that they went through to develop that cadence and that style, and that their overall stage presence.
Yeah. So we're talking about jokes, cadence, style.
Yeah.
What is your current writing process?
Okay.
Are you a pen and paper kind of guy? Like, what is your process?
Yes, of course.
Can you write? Just kidding.
Dude, I can't even read, man. I think I'm kind of spoiled because I've met comics who are like, I wake up at 10 in the morning, I go to a cafe and I write for 2-3 hours. That's what I do, baby. And I'm like, whoa, you're so productive.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Yeah.
That, like me, I'm just like, if I'm not inspired, nothing's happening. Like I have to be, and so I have to get that rage or that anger. Like, why are you taking so long? It's Subway.
Yeah.
Figure it out. Like, and then I get inspired by emotions or like some of the things that I like to observe, like social behaviors as well. And like if I see something ridiculous or like something that's kind of off, I like to kind of like talk about it. So it's just like personal empirical data, if that makes sense. And I will write it out on my Google Drive, and then I'll type it out, or I'll just write it out, and then I won't write out every detail of it. I'll write bullet points of like this is like what's funny, and that's like what's funny, and this is what I really like. Yeah. And then I will go on open mic, and when I go to open mic and when I'm on stage, it forces me to like craft it in a bit that will have punchlines and it'll have dynamics and build up and all that stuff.
Okay.
Well,
so
basically, like Ray Charles, I heard an interview. People ask, and like the interviewer asked how he wrote songs, and he say, "I don't write songs." It's like whenever something inspires him, he just has a brief idea of it, and then he plays it.
Okay,
and tries to see how the song goes. Like he never sits down and writes.
And says, "I'm writing a song today."
He said like sometimes he's walking and
it comes up.
Yeah, it comes up, and then he writes.
Yeah.
What about you guys? I'm really curious. I've been talking for so long, so I feel bad.
It's all good. You wanna?
I think we can go on the second part because we're about to finish.
Yeah, we're pushing on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go to the second part.
See you.
Yeah.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Let me get a little bit of that juice right.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
We're back, part 2.
Yes.
Now, question. So you were born in Korea,
Yes.
but you spent 10 years in the States.
Almost 7.5. So
7.5?
Yeah.
What age were you?
So I was like 9 years old, 9, 10, and then I immigrated to the United States. And I
Yeah.
lived in Florida and Chicago for 7.5 years consecutively without coming back and forth.
Yeah.
So any later, I would have had an accent to it, but like I'm totally okay. Because I went at the right, just like at the perfect time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So born in Korea, moved to the States
Yeah.
for 7.5 years.
Yeah.
Did comedy in Australia. Did you do comedy in the States too?
No, I was like, I only lived there until when I was like 15 or 16 years old.
15, and then you started at 18. All right, I
Yeah,
got the
18,
time
19, yeah.
So with all of these multicultural experiences,
Yeah.
that could fuel some rage too.
Yeah.
Is it a thing where you're like always feeling like an outsider, so everything you're just kind of
Every
observing?
day. Yeah. Sorry, I was a little bit loud, but like, first of all, like just being like an overseas Korean, like you go to America and everyone's like, there's totally an Asian right there. That's an Asian right there.
Yeah.
Go back to your country. Like not anymore, but like you're totally a foreigner.
Yeah.
And then you come back to Korea and they're like, there's totally non-Korean, English speaking.
Yeah.
He's probably mixed. I don't know. He doesn't look Korean to me. Type of vibe. So you just get rejected by both cultures, but that's fine. What hurts more is just telling people, yeah, I'm a stand-up comedian, I'm a beatboxer. And they're like, what's your real job? Like that hurts more. I would rather be called Chinese, Vietnamese all day long as opposed to like being rejected like that. So that's fine. So I just don't care anymore. I just have no pride.
Yeah.
The thing is, when he speaks Korean, he's got this Kyopo accent. Kyopo is like
Shut up. Not that thick. I have
Korean
pretty
American.
good, yeah.
We call the Korean who lives outside Korea Kyopo.
Yeah.
So he's got this accent where you can tell. So I think
Very little. Not noticeable.
No, it's very noticeable.
Shut up. Kill yourself. Yeah.
The thing is, in Korea, when you are Korean and you have that Kyopo accent, people judge you. It could be a good way, it could be a bad way. Okay. Either way, but they still judge you and they don't treat you as a Korean. And I also went through the same thing, so I know he goes through. He speaks like perfect Korean, but accent-wise, he's like everybody's like, okay,
you can tell it's different.
Yeah. It's like because you're you're Jamaican American. Yeah. And people are like, and imagine if people are like, oh, you're not really like black. Like, like, what did you just say to me right now? Like you'd be like,
No, when I'm around Jamaicans and I start speaking patois, they pull my Jamaican card all day.
Yeah.
They say you're not from Yacht, and it's just like, you got me.
That's gotta suck.
Yeah, but I mean, it's it's fun, but
Get rejected by your own people. It's awesome. Bye. You're not one of us. Can't sit with us.
So, you go.
Yeah. But like knowing Sang for 3-4 years now, I've seen his social relationship, all that. He's got a very, very good social relationship. He's really good at it. Like unlike me.
Kiss ass all day, baby.
He has a lot of friends. So I think he's one of those guys who, even if he goes outside, he doesn't face that much racism. Even in Florida, he wouldn't be facing that much racism when he comes back.
I don't know. Like, Florida's pretty wild.
Yeah, but I think his personality and his social skills is good enough to overcome this. Florida racism.
Yeah. Don't be sorry. It's all real.
Yeah. And
Florida man.
Like coming back to Korea, his personality is like, because I went through a tough time. Yeah. Because Koreans didn't really take me as a Korean and got a lot of bullies. But I don't think he went through all that in my intensity. But still, I got a question. Did you feel some kind of racism where you're outside? Did you have a hard time when you're in Korea, having Koreans not treating you as Koreans, or?
Yeah, I still do. Everyone's like, you're still mixed. Like, there's no way that you're Korean. Like, your eyebrows are way too thick to be Korean. You look kind of foreign. What are you? And I'm just like, no, I'm 100% Korean. Are you sure? Like, everyone's very doubtful. And like, when I first came back to Korea, like, I'd forgotten most of my Korean. And I was very, like, diffident and not confident in my Korean speaking abilities. I would just be at, like, the bread store going like, oh, and the lady would be like, all right, that's just called toast. And it's very, like, it was very difficult for me at first. And I went to an international school, and like, people think like, oh, Sang's always social. It's like, no, I wasn't. Like, this is something that you learn, and like you were always funny. It's like, I was not. Like, you just learn to do that as you go, and you learn that in comedy, because I went to high school, and I was really awkward, but I tried to say funny things, but it was so bad that one of my friends, Hannah Song, again, she was like, every time Sang speaks, we're going to call it the Sang moment, because it's so awkward. And he needs his own I swear to God, I'm not making this up. They called it Sang moment. Because I don't know, like, this teacher would say something, I'm like, yeah, I totally think that too. And they're like, why do you talk?
You still do that. That's why it was
No.
You're talking as if you overcame that.
Okay, I did.
You still do that, man.
No, I did, because I at least get laughter from it. But this was like no laughs, just pure awkward. Like, not even awkward. People would get angry that I opened my mouth. And then and then like I wasn't like a coherent speaker. And like I still had my southern twang, like from the Florida. And, what are y'all saying about like that is crazy, and like, you know, I don't like that. And they're like, what did you just say? Like,
So you just got better at Sang moment.
I guess that's pretty much
it. The Sang show.
But it was really awful, and So I went through like a lot of that, and sometimes I still go through it because people are like, "Dude, you're such a foreigner," and like, so I'm used to it, and that's fine, and I'll just never have a home. The only time where I really felt like I was like a native South Korean was when my mandatory military protocol came in. They're like, yeah, you need to go to the military because you are totally South Korean. 100% you are South Korean by Really? Now you accept me into your society. You treacherous fucks. It was very upsetting. They're like, Mr. Park is 100% Korean.
Wow.
I went through the same thing.
Yeah, it's like, that's the only time when you care.
You're Korean
not
now.
Korean. Like, okay, and then like now you're Korean.
Soldier, we are at war, and we need you. We want you because you're Korean. Get out of here, man.
Let me get back to that. Was a question I wanted to ask when you were saying things. Like, it's a very personal question. I need to learn about it. I need to hear about it.
Okay.
How do you learn to be social? How do you learn to be social? Where do you learn? Is there a hagwon or?
Yeah. Don't be old.
Oh.
Gotcha! That's revenge! No, I'm just kidding. No,
So I'm doomed?
No. Just.
You said you learn to be social. Like, how do you learn to be social? That's the question.
Just I don't know. Like, be natural. Don't be weird. Don't be. Okay, I'm just kidding. Okay, all right. I'm sorry. That was not okay. That was a little bit too far.
Don't be old.
Yeah, I think, but you are social. Like, he says that he's an introvert, and then he's like, "Hey, what's up? Let's do some shots," and you still do it. It's not like you're not social. I think because like I lived here for like 10 plus years, so I had like people from different pockets, like just high school, university, and then like work, and then like all that. So I just know people from there, and one thing that I do is I try not to get personal or angry, even if they piss me off, because I'm like, we do comedy in English. We need all the English speakers as much as possible. If I piss off this person, she's going to talk shit to her group of friends, and they're not going to come to a comedy show. And I want you guys to still have people coming to comedy shows. So I cannot get angry, even though she came to my after party and she started drinking all my shots, even though she was not at my show. And I can't. This is a little bit personal, but like, yeah, like I just put on a professional face, like, yeah, of course, and like, yeah.
The thing is, when we walk together, like Haebangcho on the street, he's saying hi to every person he knows, even if they don't like. don't make eye contact. He's saying hi to people every 15 seconds, 20 seconds. And he would just say, hey, somebody. And then he would look back and say hi to them. And like, I couldn't do that. Like, you know, if I see somebody that I know very awkwardly, like I know the face, but I've never had a conversation, sometimes I cross the street. And just try to avoid that. I'm like, oh my God, like, ooh, and then I cross the street, and like he's so good at like being social and so comfortable,
engaging people,
just saying hi to people. I don't know about other people, but you know, saying hi sometimes is very difficult for me. But you know, that's why I wanted to hear how did you learn to be like who you
especially
are right
with
now.
the rage at the bottom, you know, like you said, like no, because really, you could be so, you know, rageful that you're just like antisocial, you know what I mean? So, I mean, I know you say you get mad at situations, not people, which I think is like a very mature, insightful type of thing. But I mean, would you say you naturally had that, or is that something that you had to work towards?
I think I had to work towards. Like, I didn't speak English for like the longest time when I first went to America, so I would act stupid on the bus, on the school bus coming back home. And that's where you make real friends, or you get bullied. And I would just act dumb, like, oh guys, don't hit me. Like, oh my God, that's crazy. And people would laugh at that. And I think like I developed that as like a defense mechanism to get along with people because my English was not fluent. And to answer your question, I think what I think about is everyone is still equally like the same. Everyone is very simple and like socializing. People put a lot of like thought into it. I think maybe because, like you said, you're an introvert and you think about a lot about people's feelings and empathy and you know, like what they're going through and stuff. Maybe that's why it may seem really complex. But I think of it as like, even if you went to Harvard, even when you went to community college, even if you are a serial killer, we all need to sleep, eat, and try to be happy. Okay, so I try to think of it like that, and I just say simply, and I say hi, and like, and if they're upset or if they get angry at me, I never look at it like, oh, like this person is like wrong or this person's a bad person, and like I'm not a bad person, I'm a good person. I just kind of see it as like, oh, this is probably a situation that I cannot help. We just got unlucky, and it just kind of came up, so it's fine. So yeah.
Sorry if this feels like a therapy session for me, but like from what I hear, is that for everybody it is very difficult to overcome that social, relationship skill, and most people will try to work on it. Whereas for me, it sounds like I've been trying to avoid. Because also like comedy, when you bomb a couple of times, you don't go back to the stage because you don't want that.
Where'd you go?
We totally know bombing is the process, and then you have to overcome to become a good comedian. Whereas right now, I feel like you're telling me, and what I'm hearing is like I should have been working more on bombing socially to become better. Is that something?
Yeah, I completely agree.
Wow.
That's interesting too, though, because like you're a business owner a couple times over. To be a business owner, you have to socialize. It's not like you're hiring bots. So
what can I do for you?
I think I know why my business all failed. I'm still in debt. Still paying all my debts.
You're smart. You're just not social.
There's a professional term for that.
Say it.
Autistic.
On the spectrum.
He's very smart, but he can't talk.
But to organize people, to organize a club, to when you say you're not social, it's really interesting because I'm over here like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, he is social, right? He just like has his moments where he feels uncomfortable. Then I know exactly that, and then I'll just take over and I'll do most of the talking, and then like I'll talk to strangers and like people that he does not know. Then it can be very daunting, and I completely understand that. Like, but I go through the same thing, but I just try more to. You don't always need to talk. You can just listen in those situations, and like, it's fine.
The thing is, like, I said this before, but when there's an agenda that we have to discuss, because as a club owner or organizer or producer, we have a straight agenda to see if that person enjoyed the show, welcome the people. So when there's an agenda, there's motive, or there's something that we have to say. I am very comfortable approaching, and if you catch me in those moments, you would probably think I'm very social. But those moments when you don't have an agenda and you just meet people randomly, I'm like, I feel very awkward. And, like, I don't know what to say.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so, like, I don't know. My natural instinct is to avoid that situation. It's like, when you go say hi, and then what else can I say? And then you will have that 10 seconds that you will be getting close, and all I said was hi. I don't have anything else to say.
Yeah.
Because in the club, I could say, like, did you enjoy the show? Did you like?
There's an agenda. There's like
how
a
did
focal
you hear
point.
about us? All that. But, like, I feel very awkward in those moments. And I remember those things. So, like, I just want to avoid all that.
Interesting.
It's not that I hate that guy, but I feel very insecure. But this guy says hi to everyone. And it's so amazing how every time he finds something to say to those people.
Just start crowd working, baby. Hey, how you doing, lady? How you doing, lady? Like, just start crowd. No, but like, but the thing is, he's fine. I think it's more in your head. Because no one's like, oh, that Fernando, he hasn't spoken in 20 minutes. What an antisocial old fart he is. God, he is so not good at talking. He is so not social. I don't think anyone is genuinely thinking that, and everyone's just having a good time. And like, my problem is actually, I just don't know when to shut up. Sometimes I'll end up talking way too much. So I'm actually the opposite. So I try to focus and listen to you a lot. That's just what I try to do.
Like, Sang is like only like half age as I am.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I think he talked more than I did.
Yeah.
My entire life. The thing, and you get better at talking.
Yeah.
Like knowing what to say, what to not say by practice. And because I had so little practice talking to people, whenever I talk for a long time, I always make up a screwed up comment about someone. And,
You have a Fernando moment.
Oh, baby.
And I'm like, why the hell did I say that at that moment? Only yesterday. Also yesterday, I was talking to a guy and I really got him angry. I said a very, very, I don't want to go over it again, but I said a very stupid comment to him. And so, like, I wish I could talk to more people so I could be better at talking with people so I don't make those screw-ups because I've made so many screw-ups.
But the interesting thing, though,
that's
is like...
natural.
Yeah, I was going to say, wouldn't you say, like, making screw-ups is part of it?
Yeah.
It's like bombing in comedy.
Can I tell you what I said? Like, I was walking with my first... I keep talking about my first girlfriend. I was walking with my first girlfriend, and then I saw this girl that I used to date on the same road. And we walked past by, and then, like, my first girlfriend was like, oh, that girl looks like whatever. And I'm like, oh, I used to date her. It's like, really? I'm like, yeah. It's like, oh, I think she's whatever. Yeah, she had big tits, though. And I was just like, what did you just say to me right now? Like, I looked at her in the face, like, yeah, she had big tits, though. And I just implied that she was more superior than my girlfriend at the time. I kid you not, she ran away from me because she was so angry. I had to chase her down like a maniac. No, babe, I didn't mean to say that. I'm not a bad person. We all mess up.
We all mess up, yeah. Now, wait, you said your first girlfriend saw a person you used to date.
Yeah.
So that person doesn't count as your girlfriend.
Oh, we were just seeing each other casually.
I got you.
I got you. Sorry, I sound like such a trash bag.
No. When you said first girlfriend, all right, it's all good.
It's part of being young, so like enjoy it, man.
Yeah, but I still to this day, it's like, why did I say that? Like, it was so stupid.
Yeah. But it happens, right?
Yeah,
like
it happens.
Just like a bomb, it happens.
But the thing is, like, the difference is that, when you go up stage 10 times and you make 2 inappropriate remarks, that's okay.
Yeah.
But you go only to the stage twice and you make 2 inappropriate remarks and you make the inappropriate remark every time you go up the stage. And I feel like mine, inappropriate thing is saying the N-word and being racist and transphobic, homophobic at the same time.
Yeah.
Like where people are like, oh, that is so freaking unforgivable thing. I don't know why. Whenever I make those remarks, sorry if it's too personal, I say the most outrageously disturbing things.
Yeah.
So like I wish I could practice more so I wouldn't like slip. I think it kind of slips out because after I say it, I immediately know like, oh shit.
But like
Oh,
that,
shit, I know it,
sometimes that's like the only way to like figure it out.
I can't really stop it. Like they
Yeah.
just escape from my mouth. Like what? Stop!
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
no!
yeah.
They
I know.
escaped.
Yeah.
And then my whole self have to take blame for the things. But
Yeah. I think yeah.
sorry, this is very irrelevant.
No. But it happens to all of us. Sometimes
Yeah.
we just say things like yeah. I also, and talking about the bombing part, I think comics get excited when I bomb because like people like expect me to, I don't know why, but people, because I was like a show organizer and one of the leader figures, people always expect me to be good every night. But that's not how that works, and I'm allowed to fail. But as soon as I kind of bomb, like June, hey, sang bomb tonight, yay! It's like this celebration on my failure, and I'm like, yeah, guys, it's okay to like bomb every. I'm like, all right, whatever. But like, yeah.
I think one of the reasons people get really excited when you bomb is because we as a show organizers, we have to pick comedians. And in picking, it always underlies that we are judging people.
Okay.
Yeah, because you cannot just randomly.
You're picking people. Yeah.
When you're picking, you're
Agreed.
judging. Like, he's good enough to be on stage, and everybody can feel that they're being judged by Sang. And I think when Sang bombs, it's a good moment to say, you're not that good either.
Yeah.
Fucking asshole. You're not that good either. Who are you to judge us? Kind of,
That's a good
like,
point.
they're relieving, especially people who got picked up last, who were selected last, get that emotion. And I think it's a good thing that, we let those kind of emotions get out of, the comedian's chest. So it kind of, but everybody bombs. And, But it's for me too, it's especially good to watch Sang bomb because he talks so much about how not to bomb and how comedy should be. And like every time he tells me that, I want to see you if you're that good.
All right. All I do is I encourage people, and they just want to see me fall. Like
Encourage.
I encourage. What are you talking about? I'm very encouraging and accommodating. But yeah.
But jokes aside, he's been a very good influence, for comedy. And I think, as harsh as it is, selecting comedians is one of the best motivation. Being selected or not being selected, I think is one of the biggest motivation for comedians to work harder. Because when you get selected, you want to make sure that they have made the right decision. When you're not selected, you want to be selected. So
yeah, it's an interesting dynamic because then what you'll also see with that in scenes too is like people will start forming their own pockets and then they'll start selecting each other. And then it becomes like this whole other ecosystem to where it's you got little fraternities instead of like, promoting the comedy. And that's a tricky part too, but that's when ego really comes into play. And as comedians, that's one of the biggest things we got to manage.
That's going to be hilarious. That's going to be funny. But Daniel, I didn't expect you to see at my open mic. I'm very honored that you would come to my show, Daniel. Like people just trying to get, you're like, I'm just here just trying to chill and do a set. And you're like, oh, Daniel. Yeah. What was the worst drama that you went through?
Worst drama in a scene?
Yeah. Oh, man, this is going to be good.
I don't think there's been like hard drama. Now I've been in scenes where hard dramas have gone. My dramas have been very vanilla.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so
That's
like I've seen drama in scenes. I've produced shows. I've had to select comics.
Yeah.
And then so it's not really dramatic, but you can tell when people think you got something cool going and they start to buddy you up.
Oh,
and they'd be like, man, this show y'all are producing is really cool.
Daniel's been my best friend.
Yeah, that type of thing.
He's my homie. He's my brother in arms.
Exactly. It's like, you know what's going on. Under any other circumstance, no one is like trying to just chat you up.
Yeah.
Politics.
Yeah, but I haven't been in the midst of any like thick drama, but I've seen thick drama.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What's it like over there? Like just fighting and like.
Nah. It hasn't been any. But you know, this is the Will Smith era, the new millennium.
Yeah.
Yeah, but nah. You know what? Matter of fact, I seen it. It was excessive and unnecessary. This one comic, female comic, she was doing her set, and another guy comic, comes and grabs the mic from her because he didn't like what she said.
Wow.
She didn't say anything crazy. You could say it was a little SJW, like social justice warriors. But she didn't say anything crazy, right?
Yeah.
And as comedians, we're also expected to push it a little bit and say something crazy. Yeah. It wasn't even in the crazy realm, but the fact that he felt comfortable about it, you know, that was the issue. This happened a long time ago. Yeah. And like we had to get that together. This was also a guy that wasn't getting booked like that. So maybe he had some animosities and he felt like he could take it out on somebody who was less, I don't want to say less dangerous, but perceived as less dangerous, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah. But, you know, that's when like egos come into play, and, you know, if comics don't manage that, boy, it gets ugly.
Yeah, I try really hard to like not have an ego. I try to throw it away. I know you're gonna joke about this. Like, what are you talking about saying? I always try to not have an ego, to not let it build up. Every time I do a good show, I'm always like, you ain't shit. Yeah. You're not, like, you're nothing. And then I talk to my dad, and he just like confirms it. And he's like, yep, that's what you are, son. Your grandpa fought in the Korean War. I'm a CFO of a big media company, and you're out here making noises, so good to know. You know, like, this is why we should have aborted you. And I'm really upset that I did not use a condom. Never forget you're a one-night stand baby. And, like, he just,
This is a true story.
Yeah, it's all true. Like, I
damn.
really want to ask my dad, like, yo, Dad, like, am I the pre-cum or like the... Yo, because I'm like, that means I'm like super strong sperm energy. I think my dad should not see this episode, is what I'm trying to say. And
I think you are a pre-cum.
Dude.
The way you act.
Yo, dude.
The way you act, you're like, I'm gonna be there.
Because
nobody else is.
Because I come quick, baby. Yeah. I'm fast and I come quick.
If you hang out with Sang long enough, you'll know what it means.
Yeah. What were we talking about? I just lost my train of thought. I just went too much into the I like talk to my dad, and he always like decreases my confidence so much that nobody can offend me or like really like allow me to have an ego, and that's good. He's just like, you are not funny, and I'm like, thank you. Like, this is what I needed. Yeah.
The humbler.
Yeah, like I told you, like, because I'm going to the UK, and I'm like, Dad, I think I can try to diversify my act as a comic by applying to an agency. I can beatbox. I'm learning how to use a loop station, and I can do comedy crowd work. And I try to, you know, really diversify myself. I think I can do it. He's like, son, that's good, but you actually got to be funny. So just, woo! He smoked that too. It's just like, son, like one time I was like talking to my dad. He's like, son, you should wear sunglasses when you perform. I'm like, oh, why? It covers up most of your face, and like people don't need to see that. So that's excellent. just hide that. Just like good. Like nonstop.
The funny thing is, Sang comes to me and how he was abused by his father about all these facts. And sometimes I listen to it and like, your dad's got a point. But I can't tell him in the face. I'm like,
that's good.
You should be funny.
My dad's just like, hey son, can you just like not speak Korean? I'm like, why? What are you talking about? It's like, you just sound way dumber. Wow. It's just more stupid. So just speak English only. But listen, but my dad's a good guy. That's what I'm trying to say.
Ultimately.
Yeah, a little bit too late for that, but you know, he's a good dude.
Yeah, I think one of the things that Sang has, if you like hang around long enough, he has both very strong insecurity and at the same time very strong security. Is very bipolar.
What do you mean?
I see him like going from insecurity to security.
Yeah.
I think the security part is what it makes Sang take all the factual things that comes out from his fathers, but all the insecurity that he has also makes him very humble. It's
a balance.
Yeah, and like a few inches apart or to the left, to the right, he could have made him a screwed up guy, but it's in the right position of his life.
Yeah.
So close to sociopath and psychopath.
Like just an inch to the left, he could have been a total asshole.
Yeah.
By the security part of him. Just to the right, he could have been like a very depressed guy. With the insecurity. But he's there. I think God works very mysteriously. Controlling.
He got that specific
like
position.
the DJ, trying to put the left turntable, right turntable. I think God knows where to put it, right, left. So like the output is a very good comedian and also humble at the same time. Yeah. And he's got his security part, so I can say like a lot of things to him. Yeah. And he takes it very well. Yeah. I think that's one of the strongest points that makes a very good comedian.
Yeah, because I think comedians have to understand when other comedians give you feedback about oh hey, your posture was off, your joke it has too much fat on it. It's never with malintent to be you're bad. It's never that. It's just designed to help you and improve. And sometimes it's the honesty that helps you improve the most. I think hearing hey, you're using beatboxing as a crutch and as a defense mechanism, and it shows. I think that's objectively, it's a harsh statement to hear, but it's what I needed. But it's what I needed to hear to really come to myself, come to myself to the realization that I cannot continue on like this. And in order to improve, you have to know your flaws and stuff, and at the same time really work on them and come to the point where you can accept them.
Let's end in the last segment, because he says that he listens to the facts or the suggestion of other people, but it's also in my case, and I think it goes to a lot of comedians that when you get feedbacks, all you can think of is I suck. And then, instead of, listening to that and trying to find an improvement, for me, now I've gotten a little bit better. Yeah. But at the beginning, I told Sang and everybody, don't give me feedback because it's going to screw me up for days. I'm just going to go I suck. Because sometimes I feel like I did really good on stage. Yeah. I feel really good down. I come down and I sometimes hear feedbacks. That joke, you could improve in this way. Yeah. If you put this, it would be good. And he didn't mean it in a bad way. He said it was a good joke, but you could improve that way. Yeah. He didn't say it was a bad joke. Yeah. But for me, I'm oh shit, I suck. Yeah. And it takes about 3 days. So I think, it happens to a lot of comedians, but he's got that side that he could be secure about it.
I just accept it, because nobody could be as mean as my dad.
That's a gift, man. That's a gift. Not everybody has that.
Yeah, I thank my father for it. Just insulting me. Please, thank you, Dad. It's good to he just no self-esteem. But it's really funny because Fernando used to be guys, don't give me feedback, and some comedians still would. Yeah. And then he would get angry, why did you give me feedback? Dang it!
I did.
God,
I did.
Now I suck. Come on.
It was really hard.
Come on. I am 53-year-old. If you have a question, raise your hand and shut the fuck up. I can't hear you. Are you having a good time? Are you having a good time?
Am I really like that?
Let's get ready for the show. Let's get ready for the show. Come on. Put your hands together for your house.
Come to our showcases and check it out if I really act like that.
Check me out if I'm really heckling like that. Oh, sorry, I had to do it, dude.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, man.
But that's pretty accurate.
Let's wrap this up. I think it's time to wrap it up.
We're going to wrap this up right now.
I think it's time to wrap it up.
All right.
Yeah. But this has been another episode of the Daniel and Fernando Show. Sang, thank you.
Oh, thank you guys for having me. This has been an absolute pleasure.
Absolutely.
Good luck in London.
Oh, yeah. What a great insult. Good luck in London. No, I will definitely need it, and I'll be back in 2 months. Don't worry about it. I'll fail miserably and be crying in my dad's basement. And yeah, this was really, really wonderful. And I wish we had more time to talk more about comedy. But until next time.
Yeah.
All right.
Later.
Bye.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.